Happy Friday, everyone. Coach Hickey here from PhD Basketball. I am very excited today to have Jefferson Mason on. Jefferson played professionally for 5 years in the NBA G League in Germany, Romania, Turkey, and Luxembourg. After his playing career, he was the director of youth basketball for the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx for 5 years, and now he's an in-house trainer for Dr. Dish Basketball. Jefferson, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Hey, how are you doing? I'm happy to be here. Family safe and healthy, and just really excited to get on here and chat with you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. So my first question is, we all know that there's a lot of information in the world today about shooting, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain about how would you summarize the important aspects of shooting?
Well, I would say this. I think shooting is by far, in my opinion, the most important skill. For me personally, I think I could have probably been a little bit more successful in my own basketball career, especially at the highest level, if I was able to shoot the basketball a little bit better. There's a lot of great shooting coaches out there, so I won't say there's one specific way that you should do it, but a few key focuses that I found the more I've learned about basketball and just playing myself that I would suggest parents, coaches, players, and trainers should focus on is footwork. Oftentimes, players get very comfortable shooting the basketball only one way. In the game of basketball, depending on your coach too, especially, you're going to have different situations and where your footwork is going to be very important, whether that's the 1-2 step, hop step, coming off of a screen, pin down, in the one-on-one situation, pull-up jump shot. There's so many different things that require your footwork to be on point. A lot of NBA players, some of the greats, Kobe Bryant, you'll hear them talk about footwork with shooting. And a lot of players want to focus only on the top part of their shot with their hand and where their hand is placed. To me, in my opinion, that's the easiest thing you can find when you go search on where to place your hand in the proper movement. Now, that's going to vary depending on players' body structure. Some guys and girls have big hands, long arms, so you're going to have to navigate and move and be adjustable with that. But once you find a consistency with your shot and your rotation, it's very important to be able to get that basketball in your shooting pocket and really focus on being comfortable with your footwork.
Awesome, thank you. My next question is, we have different kids from all different levels of basketball watching, middle school, high school, and college. So what would you say for each of those levels, how many shots should a kid take per day or per week?
I would say hundreds, if not thousands. That's the cool thing about, Dr. Dish and who I work with. Our machines give players the opportunity to get up many, many reps. I know when I was younger, I didn't have access to that, so I would get in a gym or outside park by myself and get hundreds of shots up. If I was lucky enough to have a coach, a friend, anybody to rebound, I would take full advantage of that. But again, just working on shots that I would get into a game, building great rhythm. So I would say, if you're starting with basketball, get a ton of reps up, really good game-like reps. But as you progress and get a little bit older, through high school, and then on the professional level, you're going to want to get up thousands of shots a day. I mean, if you ask Steph Curry and some of the greats, they're getting thousands of shots up every day. It almost becomes habitual and relieving for them to get into the gym to get a lot of shots up. And the more you do that, obviously, the more you're going to perfect your craft and be comfortable come game time. So in any situation, if you can get out to the park, a driveway, obviously schools and community centers are closed right now, but if you can get into those places when they get open, get a ton of shots up, find yourself a Dr. Dish shooting machine, and maximize your time on the court, I suggest doing that because it's going to definitely help propel anybody's career at any level.
And you touched a little bit upon getting not just shooting for shooting's sake, but getting up shots in where you shoot in a game. And can you kind of just touch a little bit upon that?
Yeah, definitely. I think players get in the gym. I did this when I was younger. I got into the gym or I was outside in the court shooting, and I only shot shots that I was comfortable with doing. So naturally, everybody has things comfortably that they do, whether that's something that they just naturally evolved or had when they started playing basketball or they saw and they started working on. And when they get out to the gym, they want to work on that because they see the basketball going in the hoop, they get confidence. But what they should be doing is getting on the court, not only practicing those things, but really working on the weaknesses. So, if you're practicing a certain type of jump shot, whether that's a curl shot or a fade shot, and you can't make 5 to 10 of those at least in a row, that's something that you need to continue to rep out and get better at. If you can't catch the basketball on a 1-2 step and knock down, 5 to 10 in a row, or a hop step, and like I said, some of these other multi-cut actions, you need to get in the gym and work on it, because again, depending on the coach that you're playing with, you might have a system where it's one-on-one basketball where you're going to be able to pull up. There's going to be opportunities for the catch and shoot. There's going to be different coaches that have a lot of movement with down screens and back screens and pin downs and all that good stuff, where you're going to have to come off of a screen and shoot a tough shot. If you're not comfortable doing that because you haven't practiced it, you're not going to have success. And a lot of the kids that find themselves playing for a coach that has a style that may not fit their shooting or ball handling abilities, the first thing that they want to do is say, hey, it's not me, it's the coach. When in reality, as a player, you want to hope that the coach adjusts a little bit for you as a player, but likewise, you have to be able to fit within any type of system, because you won't play for the same type of coach on every single level.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thanks. So next, this is a question kind of geared toward the time we're in right now. A lot of athletes out there probably don't have access to a hoop. And so is there anything that those players can do to work on their shot and to get better during this time?
Well, the first thing I would say is self-evaluation. As basketball players, even now at the youngest ages, 4th through 8th grade, traveling basketball, players are starting to get into almost a robotic routine where they're going to practice, they're playing games, repeat. Going to practice, playing games, repeat. And there's not a lot of opportunity for them to look at themselves, from a bird's eye view and say, who do I want to be as a basketball player? What are the things I truly need to work on? What are some of the things that I'm great at? What do I enjoy? What don't I enjoy? How can I work harder and better? So that self-evaluation is going to be key for long-term success. If you don't know those things about yourself as a basketball player, especially at the younger ages, it's not going to allow you the opportunity to progress properly or at the accelerated rate that a lot of players want. So that would be the first thing I would say, self-evaluation. The second thing is there's a ton of different drills that you can do out there that don't involve a hoop and necessarily even a basketball at times. One great shooting drill that I love to do is, and I've seen one of my good friends, Mike Dunn, he does this all the time with his players. You have a basketball, you can lay on the floor, work on your shooting mechanics, tie a balloon or tape a balloon up to your ceiling if your parents will let you. Try to hit that balloon without knocking it off or popping it or anything. Just repeating that action until you develop a lot of consistency. Now, a lot of coaches or trainers will say, hey, well, when you're laying on your back and you're shooting the basketball, that's not the proper form. But what you'll find is that the mechanics are very, very similar. You're just changing the trajectory or the angle of your shot. And so in a game, you might shoot a little bit higher, you may shoot a little bit more at an angle, or even more flat if you're jumping higher. You change that all the time during the game. You're never shooting the same shot. So the rhythm and the mechanics of the shot and the consistency and the accuracy is what's really important.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great drill. I hope everyone listens to you and does that, because that's awesome. And the last thing is obviously when we're working with players, we're also working with the parents. And right now, more than ever, parents are at home with their kids more. And so what advice would you have for parents whose players are asking them for help and trying to get better right now?
First thing I would say is be positive. I've seen so many players quit basketball or not want to play because their parents are pushing them way too hard, or they're not giving them positive reinforcement. Remember, you have trainers, you have coaches, you have all those type of people out there to challenge your kids in that way. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't challenge them yourselves, but oftentimes they want to come home to a safe environment or be around a safe environment and have fun. So parents, what I would suggest is make sure that you're telling your kids, hey, good job, keep working. I can see a lot of progress in your skill set. Love what you're doing. I'm really proud of you. Those type of things are affirmation that help players feel like their parents really care about what they're doing, and they want to continue to impress and want to continue to work. I believe, me personally, one of the reasons why I work so hard is because I didn't have anybody shoving it down my throat. I just had a lot of people saying, hey, you're doing a great job. And then once I got to the opportunity where I could really take my game to the next level and learn, I loved the game so much that I wanted to be coached. I wanted to be pushed, and I was able to face adversity. If you don't have that backdrop of your parent or even some coaches being a support system, you're not going to want to work as hard. There's a lot of parents out there that have never played basketball. They have no idea, but there's a lot of resources like Dr. Dish Basketball that can help parents teach their players minimally some of the things that they can do. Now, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out, but get out there with your son or daughter. Get some shots up. Just have fun with it. The fact that they want to get out there and play and get better is a great starting spot. And there's so many different resources out there, even outside of Dr. Dish Basketball, to help players be better. And if you just do a little bit of research and get out there and try your best, your kids will definitely appreciate that on a lot of different levels.
That's great. And Jefferson, if you could just maybe plug that website where people can go on for Dr. Dish Basketball.
Yeah, definitely. So if you check us out on our social channels, Dr. Dish B-Ball on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you're going to see a lot of daily drills that we push out. So individual drills, small group drills. We even have partnered with colleges in which they have a lot of individual and group drills that players can work on. So we're bringing resources from all over the place. You can also sign up now for our 10-day virtual camp in your driveway. So we just launched that. If you go to our website, Dr. Dish Basketball, you can get pinged on that and get into our 10-day virtual camp where every day we're going to send motivation, ball handling, shooting, agility, conditioning, things that you can do in your driveway without a Dr. Dish shooting machine. And a lot of this doesn't even require a basketball hoop as well. If you go to our YouTube, Dr. Dish Basketball, we have a ton of different drills and skills from some of the top trainers in the world, along with our in-house trainers at Dr. Dish Basketball as well. So we're almost a hub for motivation, skills and drills that parents, players, trainers even look after. So check us out. We have a lot of new good stuff virtually almost every single day.
Absolutely, that's great, and I would definitely promote everybody going out and checking that out too, for sure. But Jefferson, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to talk to me today, and I hope you stay safe and stay healthy during this time.
Hey, I definitely appreciate you giving parents, coaches, trainers a resource to check things out and getting people on. Really honored to be able to be on here and chat with you today. So thanks again for having me.